Well, welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, to another Johnny Torch Live broadcast here on the only way to spend your Saturday here with us on the Johnny Torch Live program. Torch News Roundup number 203 today. Live broadcast number 246. Gee, I thought it was more than that. We're getting close to 250. What are we going to do for 250's live broadcast? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. We'll probably see what the news foretells for the Torch News Roundups. Most of these live shows are news roundups. We were trying to get creative for a while there because, during the past year, there wasn't a lot of news and things to share and discuss. But we made the most of it with doing other things. But I still like to get a little more creative, a little more adventurous, and do some more videos about music, more videos about, just different things. I used to do some, top 10 lists, top 20 lists. You can find some of them probably in the playlists, I guess. I think I've got them lined up there somewhere. And I'm going to come up with some new ideas, but kind of difficult. I don't know. I think we've done everything. We did favorite screen villains. We did favorite portrayals of superheroes in live action. I don't know. I mean, if you have any suggestions, be sure to leave them in the comments below. We'll try to do another top 10 video. That'd be fun. Or top 20. I did the massive video about the MCU ranked, and I think that was back when we were in phase 3, maybe still. I could probably redo that maybe and do a little more of a streamlined list of that. I don't know. There's a lot of things we could do. Just got to take the time to do it. That's all. All right. So welcome into the show, ladies and gentlemen. A lovely Memorial Day weekend here for us that we're enjoying. And I was saying on Twitter not too long ago, before the show started, that it's kind of a rainy, drizzly, skeevy day here in Massachusetts. And high atop the fair metropolis below in Torch Tower, kind of a miserable day. So I decided to go for a walk, like I always do. I take a constitutional whenever whenever I have the time. I wouldn't say every day, but of course it's good for the exercise, and it's good for your health. So I try to walk at least 45 minutes a day, if possible. And I went to the park for a change. Usually stay out of the city. I usually just take the back roads and get my exercise and come back home. But I wanted to go through the city. As everybody knows, the mask mandates are done here in Massachusetts today. You really wouldn't know it, though, walking through the streets. And that kind of makes me sad because nobody is taking advantage of it. The businesses still all have signs on the doors, all still advocating for masks. I think the local laundromat was the only place that didn't. So literally 99% of the places I passed still had them on the doors. People are still afraid, and that's a shame. There's too much to live for than to live in fear. But then I went to the park, and it was a nice scene, a nice setting there. A lot of American flags all set up nicely. And as I like to do, even when it's not Memorial Day weekend, but I like to look at the monuments. You'll find them in every park. There's plaques, there's little monuments, there's statues, and they're all dedicated, usually with the names of the fallen heroes who have passed defending our great nation here in the United States of America. And I took a look at them all. There was a lot of variety there. We had monuments from the Civil War, going back to the Civil War, and monuments there was one to the Spanish-American War. That's a pretty old one, too. Not that these monuments were made back then, but, they were still made in the 1800s, I think, but they weren't necessarily, made at the time of the actual wars. World War II. But anyway, just make sure you take a moment during this weekend. Hopefully you have good weather and you can enjoy a less oppressive government now, allowing you to breathe fresh air again and allowing you to get out there and have a barbecue and do that stuff. You don't need the government to tell you that, but I don't want to get on my soapbox. But during all the festivities and enjoyment, always make sure to remember what the meaning of this holiday is for. To remember the men and women who gave their lives. Truly, we stand on the shoulders of these great men and women who gave their all to make sure that we were free. And whether it was on foreign soil, some of these guys never came home, guys and gals, or whether it was, here defending, in the case of the Civil War, of course, both sides were here. But, always have a moment's reflection for this holiday, for this weekend. And all of our freedoms, all the sacrifices made by them, we enjoy now, we share today. And it's a blessing. It's very much a blessing. And we pray for their souls in the kingdom of heaven. May the Lord grant them mercy and peace. And with that, let us move on to something a little more close to home for me. We're going to take a look at, let's see, The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, Chapter 7 here, the 7th issue in the Bullets Bourbon saga. We have a new image. I'm starting to release more images than ever before. It's very interesting because I was always keeping these books closely guarded. I didn't want anybody to see anything. I want you to open up the book, and I want you to be completely surprised about what's going on. And the funny thing is, that's a way of doing it. That's like having no trailers. That's like having no commercials, no images, and then a movie comes out and you're just expected to go see it. I realize it's more fun that way in some cases, usually with a property that already has a built-in audience. But unfortunately, I don't think Bullets Bourbon has as big of an audience that's going to be a draw, the surprise factor. So I'm trying to get a lot of images out this time. And of course, it always bugs me kind of that I'm afraid images can be stolen and manipulated. And, I get afraid that, the copyright, I always make sure I get. So I shouldn't be that concerned. But you kind of don't want people to mess around with you before these things are put out there in the public. But this is a new image. This is, I put this up on Twitter with the caption, "Bullets, nothing good comes from a meeting in a dark alley at 1 a.m. Because apparently Bullets and Veronica are meeting with Tom Ado in a dark alley. And he has, quote unquote, the item under his arm. What does this mean? You'll have to read the issue to find out. Check out the link in the description below, and you can find out all the ongoing adventure in The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. We have a couple of free preview pages up still from the most recent issue, The Family Jewels, which sets up the Family Jewels arc. It's a 3-issue arc. The next issue, entitled Temptation Eyes, is going to come out whenever I can finish this book. We're on page 19 now of a 24-page issue. And quite hopefully, quite honestly, I'm hoping this is going to be done sometime in June. Again, no promises. I was shooting for April, then I figured May. Now I'm shooting for June, and even that is kind of overestimating it. But keep up with the link in the description below for my website or my Twitter page. You'll find out all the exciting news whenever this is actually going to hit print. We don't do, at least, I don't know, I don't do Indiegogos and crowdfunders for individual issues. I only do that for the trades when I put the trades together. That's why I said probably sometime next year, early next year, January, February, the trade for this will probably be out. But as of now, we want to put out the individual issues without a crowdfunder. That's just the way I do it. I don't think people should crowdfund something this. I try to make it as affordable as possible anyway. But, when you have a trade, you expect the price is going to be a little bit higher. and I can throw in a little bit more in terms of freebies and the bigger tiers and stuff. So we kind of just leave it simple here. And, you know, you could always check out Indie Planet. That's where I'm listed. You can buy them straight from there, or you can order them from my website, which is in the description below. And that's where I will try to throw in some freebies, magnets, stickers, little things there, odds and ends that'll hopefully be a generous reward for you guys for buying. And very excited about this story arc. I can't wait. I want to do a commercial for it. This is the first time I'm probably going to do a commercial. I hope I can put it together myself. I'm looking into maybe getting an animator. If there's anybody out there who's interested in doing for me even just a 10-second animation, maybe a little less than 10 seconds, I'll be happy to do that, you know, and pay a reasonable price for something simple. I'm really looking forward to it and hoping that we can get some eyes on this book. It's really the greatest comic book saga that's unknown to the general indie comic going public. And we're hoping to change that soon and get more eyes on the book. As I've said, this is a story of obsession, temptation, betrayal. It's got everything. It's the whole story. It's the whole ball of wax, all going to be in this 3-issue arc. You're going to get everything. And it is, I have to say, when I set out to do this story, when I wrote this story, it became quite personal to me. And I said this before. Usually when an artist says something is their most personal work, usually means it's crap. We'll be honest, it usually means it's crap. Not in this case. In this case, I put a lot of my heart and soul into it. And I think the results are there. I think you can see, again, it's not just the typical run-of-the-mill story. There's something substantial to be said in this story arc that Bullets goes through. And of course, I'm sad to say that this leads into the next issue, which is called The Death of Bullets Bourbon, which it's going to be a hard issue for me to take. It's going to be hard to get that one produced and put out there, but that is the resolution to this story. Sad to say. We're going to have more information on that with the next issue being the last in the arc. And I'll talk about it more then, about my plans going forward with the story, with the character, and what this means to the saga. And again, this is this is a great saga, my life's work, and I put all my passion and everything that I've enjoyed and learned from comics and television. As I said, this is kind of gently based in the action adventure television genre of the 70s and 80s. If you like Battlestar, classic Battlestar Galactica, if you like Knight Rider, A-Team, MacGyver, this was all heavily influenced by those shows from when I was a kid. And I married that with the comic book genre, what I loved about the comic book genre, the colors, the colorful villains particularly, I think, come from the comic book side of things. And, you know, it's very enjoyable. I would love everybody to really take a chance on it and see if you don't agree yourself. So there it is again, The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. Thank you for checking it out if you have. And if you haven't, don't waste any time any longer. Get in there on our website and check out The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. You can also keep up to date on my convention appearances. As I said, as of now, the only one confirmed is the Granite Con in September. But keep an eye open. I am thinking of doing probably going to do some flea market appearances again if I can't get too many more cons. I put in an application for another con. They haven't gotten back to me yet, so I'm eagerly anticipating hearing from them. Hopefully I'll be able to share that soon. But yeah, keep an eye open for that. All right, so let us get in on the show proper. let's talk about. I have to admit, I came to the show today kind of under protest. I didn't even really want to do a show. There isn't a whole lot to talk about that is of any interest to me. The biggest story that probably came out this past week was, of course, the Eternals trailer just came out. And quite frankly, if you've seen the thumbnail, it sort of betrays my feeling about this movie. I just don't care. Nothing about this is of any interest to me. I've never heard of these characters. Now, before anybody can say anything in the comments, let me address it. I know Guardians of the Galaxy was a niche property within Marvel. That turned out to be exceptional. And even though it wasn't particularly comic accurate, it still was fun. It still was good, and so on and so forth. I don't begrudge people wanting to be optimistic about this, but this really doesn't have anything interesting to offer me, particularly judging by that trailer. Now, this time I did actually watch the trailer again to refresh my memory. I'd seen it 2 or 3 times, and quite honestly, nothing about it is in the slightest bit spectacular. They're basically trying to promote the movie on it's a diverse cast. And what they mean by that is many of the characters have been race changed. Some of them have been gender changed. Some of them have been orientation changed, I guess, if you want to say. I don't know. Supposedly there's a gay character that I think wasn't gay in the comics. I don't know. None of it is particularly interesting. If you've seen the Inhumans that they tried to foist on an unsuspecting public about 2 years ago now on ABC, this feels like the spiritual successor to that. It looks like garish costumes, sort of square peg in a round hole casting, and just a dull as dishwater premise. It's like, yeah, there's these kind of colorfully clad characters walking around. I don't even want to say modern day, because most of this looks like it takes place in various periods of human history. It starts off with like a fishing village or something with this huge domino or something comes out of the sky. And I don't know. These characters, at least from what I know nothing about the Eternals in the comics other than Jack Kirby created them for Marvel. It's sort of his version of the New Gods, dare I say. It's sort of a hybrid of the New Gods and his work on Inhumans, I think. He basically, let's face it, Jack basically did the same thing like 3 times over for 2 different companies. He did the Inhumans, he did the New Gods, he did the Eternals, and basically it's the same concept every time. It's like there's some kind of race that's hidden from the rest of the world that somehow they get involved in humanity at some point, but they're really sort of above the peons below that are sort of the regular humans. So anyway, nothing about this is particularly interesting. Nothing about Kirby's work. I mean, I don't know anything about the Eternals, but I'm not even a huge fan of New Gods. And for this to be like New Gods light and this to be like Inhumans light, it offers me no interest whatsoever. I do like the Inhumans. I think if they do a Fantastic Four film series, which hopefully we still have in the works, hopefully that gets redone and they'll forget about the television show, and that maybe, just maybe, we'll get a good Inhuman. That's what I'd be interested in. I don't know about this or what it would take me to be interested in this. Let me take a look at the copy here. Marvel Studios has finally shared the first teaser trailer for Eternals, and while it doesn't reveal much, it still offers an exciting in their opinion. I have to say, in my opinion, there's nothing exciting about this. Glimpse at the role these heroes will play in the MCU. While there aren't many significant talking points to be found, Chloe Zhao's first superhero movie looks like a beauty as far as the visuals are concerned. The costumes look great in motion. The Oscar-winning filmmaker set out to do something different. There's already been buzz online. This could be a movie that receives serious award attention. Eternals features an exciting new team of superheroes in the MCU, ancient aliens who have been living on Earth in secret for thousands of years. I wonder where that came from. I never heard of that before. However, following the events of Avengers Endgame, an unexpected tragedy forces them out of the shadows to reunite against mankind's most ancient enemy. Is that going to be Kang by any chance? I'm not sure. The Deviants are nowhere to be seen, and neither are the Celestials. We're already caught sight of in the action figures, Lego sets, and promo art that's been doing the rounds. Regardless, the outstanding ensemble cast includes Richard Madden as Icarus, Gamma Chan, Cersei, Camille Najani as Kingo. Again, forgive me if I'm butchering these names. Lauren Riddoff as Macquarie, Brian Tyree Henry as Fastos, Salma Hayek as Ajak, Leah McHugh as Sprite, Don Lee as Gilgamesh, Barry Keoghan as Droog, and Angelina Jolie as Thena. Kit Harington, meanwhile, will take on the role of Dane Whitman. He can be seen here, but there are no indications he'll be suiting up as the Black Knight. So a couple of things before we move on. I don't like a lot of people are trying to play so cute with why didn't they respond to the 30 extinction level events from the time of Iron Man till now? That is such a weak argument. Honestly, that's a weak argument. Please don't use that argument anymore. For one thing, we don't know why they were in hiding. We don't know why they didn't want to get involved. We don't know any of these things yet. So just making brash supposition on why wouldn't they. Maybe they have a good reason. Who knows? I've got to extend that possibility. As boring as this is, as dog poop as it looks, there may be a reason. And I've always bristled at that kind of explanation because a lot of times you have people saying, like, well, why didn't Iron Man get help from Cap to fight, the Mandarin in Iron Man 3? Well, it's because it's Iron Man 3, dummy. It's Iron Man's movie. Captain America doesn't necessarily have to get involved in Iron Man's movie. It's the same thing on television. It's like, why doesn't Ollie get Barry to help him with Ra's al Ghul? You know what I mean? It's like, because it's not Barry's show, idiots. Superheroes are not really meant to go constantly going for help. It's supposed to be like an extinction level event in order to sort of band together, like Thanos caused the whole Avengers and pretty much everyone under the sun to get together. You nullify the importance of the big superhero team up and get together if that's all you do is the big superhero team up and get together. So please don't use that argument. It's terrible. It's just ridiculous. The other thing I wanted to point out, of course, is the little gimmicky tag at the end, which is, who's going to lead the Avengers now? There's no Iron Man and there's no Captain Rogers, which I don't know why they didn't say no Captain America. I guess because now we have Sam Wilson as Captain America, so we can't say he's not Captain America. He's Captain America now. But the point is if you have to say Captain Rogers and you can't say Captain America, then obviously Sam Wilson is not that influential of an Avenger to be considered Captain America if you don't automatically imagine when the question is asked, who's going to lead the Avengers? Oh, Sam Wilson, Captain America. If it has to be a question in your mind, then he's not Captain America. Captain America leads the Avengers. I have no doubt of that. So that's kind of, it seemed more to me as a slap in the face, an inadvertent slap in the face to Sam Wilson, Captain America. I don't know. Who the heck would lead the Avengers without Captain America, without Iron Man? That leaves probably of the core Avengers, Thor. Chris Hemsworth's still going to be Thor for quite a while, for what I understand. I don't know that Thor is the kind of character that you want to put in charge. I always said, I think a lot of people would say Captain Marvel. She's not a very popular character, particularly, though. I always said in the comics, the Wasp was always shown taking a regular turn at the chairman position, and I would like to see Evangeline Lilly given a shot as the Wasp, as the, of course, she hasn't had a lot of time in the MCU. Thankfully, they are going to make a third Ant-Man film, Ant-Man and the Wasp film. I really enjoy those. I really, to be honest with you, if anybody deserves an ongoing series on Disney Plus, I would pay to see Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love Paul Rudd. I love Evangeline Lilly. Give them a TV show and just let them play. And give them as many seasons as you need, because I guess they're only 6-episode series or something. But I would do that. But I mean, that would be the answer to the question for me. I would say make it the Wasp. Make the Wasp the chairman, the head of the Avengers. And of course, like I said, in the comics, that was sort of a revolving appointment. They did that for like 3 months or something, and then they passed it on to the next chairman that was one of the original Avengers, one of the original board members, so to speak. So anyway, there you have it, the Eternals. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm not particularly excited about this. I quite honestly, unless they're going to show me something in the next trailer that's just going to be knocking me on my fanny, I probably am not going to see this one in theaters. It's getting to the point, and I've said this before, I am not going to reward studios for just giving me crap. Because it's all they have left now. They got rid of Iron Man. They didn't want to recast Iron Man and Captain America. And that's fine, I suppose, if you want to put them on the shelf. But you don't have a whole lot more to work with. And the Eternals is not particularly something that I'm interested in. I'm not going to reward race-changing characters anymore. That's why I'm not going to see the Batman. Jury's still out if I'm going to see Spider-Man. What is it called? No Way Home? I don't know. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But particularly films that do the race changing and they're not staying close to the core characters, I'm not going to reward them. I'm not going to reward them with theater money. I am not going to, see them. And that's just the way it's going to be from now on. That's just the way it is. So I'm probably not seeing this one in theaters. But like I said, if I reserve the right, if they do a butt-kicking trailer for the next trailer for Eternals, I might change my mind. But from where I sit now, doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. And November is not a great time for movies, if you ask me anyway. I don't like going to the movies in November when I got to start saving money for Christmas. You know what I mean? I can't afford to go spend an arm and a leg going to the movies, so that's also the reason why it's a bad time. Alrighty, so what's next? Oh, yeah, as we were just talking about a moment ago, there is some news now out about the Kraven the Hunter solo film. Now, they're still doing these solo films at Sony. Now, we've got the Venom sequel coming out, which, like I said, I thought looks pretty good. And we have Morbius, which, I don't know, it's a coin toss. It could be pretty good if, you got Jared Leto in the titular role as Morbius. He's a competent actor. I don't see why it should fail as an origin picture, at least. Well, now Kraven the Hunter is cast with Aaron Taylor Johnson. And, yeah, I think that's what we all said when we... I had to use that. That's what we all said when we heard this. I'm not sure exactly what they saw, but I guess I can see it. I mean, he's going to have to bulk up a little bit. Playing Pietro, he had to be, lean and fast and so forth. Kraven's got, a massive chest. You know what I mean? Let's just say it like it is. He's got a Ricardo Montalban chest. And he's going to have to bulk up. He's going to have to start lifting the weights and drinking the protein shakes. All right, let's see. Sony Pictures has announced that Golden Globe winner and BAFTA Film Award nominee Aaron Taylor Johnson has been cast as the titular anti-hero. Anti-hero? They're all anti-heroes. Come on, whatever happened to the villains? He's supposed to be a villain. He wants to kill Spider-Man. He wants to kill Spider-Man for sport. that don't make you a villain. I don't know what does. I mean, you basically want to kill another human being so you can have like a trophy out of it. That's a villain, people. Come on, let's stop playing games with these titles. In the upcoming Spider-Man spinoff, Kraven the Hunter, which is now tentatively scheduled to arrive in theaters January 13th, 2023. He signed on for multiple films, so there's the possibility he could make his debut in a different Spider-Man or Sony film before headlining his own standalone feature. J.C. Chandor has been tapped to direct the long-gestating origin story with a screenplay from Art Markham and Matt Holloway. And Richard Wink. Oh, I remember Richard Wink. He wrote some of those movies. I mean, those books, those novels I read when I was a kid. Wow, he's still getting work doing film. That's pretty cool. They were like choose your own adventure books. I don't know. I think he might have done like Goosebump stories too. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was choose your own adventure type stuff. I used to really like that when I was a kid. While Keanu Reeves was rumored to be the top choice for the role earlier this year, it was later reported that he actually passed on the part several months prior. According to Justin Kroll of Deadline, Brad Pitt, John David Washington, and Adam Driver were also considered by the studio before they saw footage of Taylor Johnson and David Letts' upcoming actioneer Bullet Train, and they quickly moved to offer them the part. The 30-year-old English actor is, of course, best known to comic book fans for his roles Pietro Maximoff in The Winter Soldier and Age of Ultron, as well as for playing David Lizwitsky in Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2. I guess I can say that word because it's the name of a movie. His most prominent credits include, but are not limited to, Savages, Anna Karenina, Godzilla, Nocturnal Animals, The Wall, Outlaw King, A Million Little Pieces, and Tenet. Before Kraven, he can be seen later this year in Matthew Vaughn's The King's Man and next year in Bullet Train. Sony Pictures' decision to develop its own Marvel movie universe focusing on Spider-Man characters without the webhead's involvement never really sat right with Spidey fans. But it was assumed that we would see a crossover at some point. We've seen several hints that Tom Holland's take on the Wall Crawler is supposed to exist in the world of Sony Spider-Man verse. They're calling it the SPUMC, which I don't know what that stands for. So if anybody knows, let me know in the comments below. Such as seeing the Daily Bugle, Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes in the trailer for Morbius. Sony Pictures president Sanford Panach has now confirmed that plans are indeed in place for the web-slinging hero to cross paths with the likes of Tom Hardy's Venom and Jared Leto's Morbius. Promising that fans won't miss Spider-Man and Venom, let there be carnage, Panach then adds, it'll be exciting if they do meet, right? There actually is a plan, he told Variety. I think now maybe it's getting a little more clear for people where we're headed. And I think that when No Way Home comes out, even more will be revealed. The great thing is we have this very excellent relationship with Kevin Feige. There's an incredible sandbox there to play with. We want those MCU movies to be absolutely huge because that's great for us and our Marvel characters. And I think that's the same thing on their side. But we have a great relationship. There's lots of opportunities, I think, that are going to happen. Earlier today, we reported on a rumor relating to certain villains joining forces to form the Sinister Six in No Way Home. Now, of course, I didn't put down the copy here of this, but they're talking about, of course, the rumors that Willem Dafoe is going to return as Norman Osborn, and he'll be playing the Green Goblin going forward. I don't know how true that is. I can see him showing up in No Way Home, but is he going to continue on in a centerpiece role, so to speak, in the MCU? I don't know. I don't know if I'd see that happening, but it would be fun if it does. And of course, we already had confirmation for Alfred Molina and Jamie Foxx returning to their roles of Dr. Octopus and Electro. That's been confirmed. So everybody's thinking the Sinister Six. Panich wouldn't confirm anything. His response to the question about Spidey's foes joining to become the Sinister Six may speak volumes. Quoted, "It would be very cool, wouldn't it?" He chuckled after a long pause. So there you have it. What do you think? Is it Is it probable we're going to get a Sinister Six film with Tom Holland's Spider-Man out of all this? When we see sort of a... Will they be the villains of Spider-Man No Way Home? I don't know. Going forward, I mean, how many villains? Let's see. We've got the Vulture. We've got Mysterio. Supposedly, we know that, spoiler alert, he was killed in the last film. Let's say, just for the sake of argument, he survived. That's two. Kraven the Hunter. We got the Scorpion that they sort of built up in Far From Home. Homecoming. Let's see. Bringing back Molina's Ock is 5, and then Electro would be 6. That leaves no room for the Green Goblin. So that means, I don't know, maybe they would drop Scorpion. They would either drop Scorpion because they really didn't build him up, or they probably would drop Mysterio, saying that he was killed. But I don't think you have the Sinister Six without Mysterio, particularly. And I think you really need Scorpion too if you're going to do the old school Sinister Six, right? So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you excited about seeing Aaron Taylor Johnson suit up in the lion mane vest for Kraven? Another origin picture for a Spider-Man villain that Spider-Man is likely not going to show up in. All right, so let's take a look at, this is another story that broke. I don't know. I'm not particularly following this too closely, but the HBO Max Green Lantern series, which is going to be, I believe, sort of a... what do they call that? Like an anthology. I think that's what it is. So I don't think any of these characters are really going to get together. I think it's just going to be a set of period pieces and different Green Lanterns in the core from different eras and so on and so forth. I'm not sure, but I think that's the case. Let's see. Lee Toland Krieger, who helmed the Superman and Lois pilot for the CW, is signed on to direct the first 2 episodes of the upcoming Green Lantern HBO Max series from Seth Grahame-Smith and Mark Guggenheim. Krieger has previously directed features such as Celeste and Jesse Forever and The Age of Adeline before moving to TV. In addition to Superman and Lois, he helmed the pilot and several episodes of Riverdale, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Prodigal Son, Shadow and Bone, and Deadly Class. Specific plot details for the show are still under wraps, but we do know that the story will play out over multiple time periods. Finn Wittrock will play Guy Gardner for the 80s setting, and we recently heard that Jeremy Irvine was in talks to play Alan Scott in the 40s. The Warhorse actor has since confirmed his casting via Instagram. So, let's see. Jeremy Irvine will be Alan Scott, which I guess they're going to keep with the orientation change that he's gay, which was never like that in the comics. He was the father of a couple of children, and he was decidedly heterosexual. But of course, that means nothing to a lot of people nowadays. I don't know. I don't really like this idea. I don't like the multiple time periods. I don't know what you're going to do. Why can't we have Guy Gardner? And of course, there's no mention that I'm aware of Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, even I don't know, Kyle Rayner. I don't understand it. I don't know why they can't just put together a decent Green Lantern series that encompasses the whole of the Green Lantern universe. But there you have it. All right, we got one more. And of course, let me know what you think in the comments below. We got one more story here before we wrap it up for the evening. I've got dinner to grab, so I better get going here. All right, this is the spotlight of the week for me, because this was something I was really looking forward to. I just love Cobra Kai. It's been such a great series. A couple of things I don't like about it, but for the most part, they've hit the mark every single time with this show. Now the real pain begins. What does that come from? That comes from Cobra Kai Season 4, adding none other than Terry Silver to the proceedings. Now, we had left Season 3 with the suggestion that, Kreese was going to reach out to his old Vietnam buddy, Terry Silver, as he did before in Karate Kid 3. Now, Karate Kid 3 wasn't a great movie, particularly when you compare it to 1 and 2, which were spectacular. 3 was all right, but it wasn't great. But what was great about it was seeing, well, for one thing, Martin Kove come back, but also, of course, seeing Thomas Ian Griffith's portrayal of Terry Silver. Terry Silver was just the most manic, energized character and just led so much energy. He lent so much energy to the production. Now he's back, and he looks the same. I mean, he's got the ponytail. He's got that same look. I just hope he's got the same manic energy. That's the only thing I'm hoping for. And of course, I'm hoping as well that we're going to have some kind of progression in the relationship between Kreese and Silver, because there has to be some kind of fallout when they failed with Karate Kid 3's plan that they had to, humiliate Daniel and Miyagi, and that all, of course, blew up in their face. No information yet, of course, whether Bad Boy Barnes is coming back, but I think the guys that make this show here, the show writers, think they're cagey enough to understand that you want to unveil these things slowly but surely. We started off with Johnny and Daniel. Then we got Kreese in Season 2. Then we got Chosen and Kumiko and, whatever the storylines there that we resolved in Season 3. And then we got Season 4 now is going to take on Terry Silver. Probably Season 5, I'm guessing, is going to have Bad Boy Barnes. And then from there is when we'll have to see if they... I would love to see the series just go on as long as the writing continues to be this exceptional as it's been. I'm sure there's a lot more places they can take it. But the question mark is really going to be Season 6. If they're going to go to the next Karate Kid, or perhaps just mark off on a completely uncharted path. That'd be interesting as well. Like I said, it's a very, it's a very limited number of episodes, so you really could stretch this out a bit longer. That's another one, of course, we already dealt with Allie with an I. We got a lot done last season. So they would be wise to try to sort of not put all your eggs in one basket. All right, let me read the copy here. In the Season 3 finale, Kreese turned to a mysterious individual for help after Johnny. Well, that's what I was trying to say. You have to try to wonder where that leads them. Now, is Silver still going to be rich, or did he end up also suffering from trying to bring back the brand of Cobra Kai? Because you have to remember, Johnny picked up the brand of Cobra Kai, and he didn't have any opposition from Silver. And you have to remember that they even name-dropped him in the first season. I believe it was the first season. They name-dropped him, saying that they were banned. Cobra Kai was banned from competing in All Valley tournaments because of, Terry Silver's involvement, and it makes you wonder exactly where that left him, because he had a dojo that was no longer going to compete. Did he move his... Because the plan was to make a franchise, I think, of Cobra Kai dojos all throughout, California, or wherever that valley was. And it's going to be interesting to see what he did with those plans. Did he move off to a different location, or did he just give up on it? Did he bankrupt himself trying to keep Cobra Kai going in the intervening years? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where they find Silver after all this. But apparently he's still going to be buddies with Kreese, and for good reason. We've seen in the... they said it in Cobra Kai, in Karate Kid 3, but we've seen it in Cobra Kai Season 3, the backstory being, of course, that Kreese volunteered himself to protect Silver. And, of course, it's going to be interesting to see. They're probably going to have flashbacks too to see if Silver, show how Silver became a martial arts master himself. Thomas Ian Griffin, I think, is the only character, the only actor that genuinely knows karate. I think maybe, of course, Mike Barnes, I can't remember the actor's name right now. I think he learned karate as well, and that's how he got the role. But basically, those two actors are the only ones. So it's going to be interesting to see how they frame how Silver was taught. Did Kreese teach him? I don't remember if they said that in Karate Kid 3. I just remember they said that he bailed him out, basically, which is the story we got in season 3. Anyway, very interesting to see where they're going to go from here. And of course, like I said, I'm just dying to see this portrayal of Thomas Ian Griffin again coming back. And the writers, they're just so good at this thing. They're so good at writing these characters so that they're recognizable. Sure, some of them have moved on. I think Chosen was a good example of how they kind of moved him beyond the sort of stereotypical villain, but at the same time, they're being true to these characters. They're not acting like, well, they're completely different than you remember them when you last seen them. Most of these characters, I would say maybe with the possible exception of Chosen, all of them are basically as we left them. Johnny's a bit of a jerk, and Kreese is basically still the Palpatine of the series. He's the unredeemable evil. I'm starting to wonder if he's going to be the only character that's unredeemable, because I think at the end of the day, especially when you've seen, I think with Hawk and Tori, the allegiances are going to shift eventually, and you're not going to really have any bad guys in the new generation. It's all going to be whether they keep Kreese and Silver evil. I think probably, I had said before, I think maybe Kreese will be the only one to stay evil. But when you have Terry Silver there, I think he is probably, if not as evil, probably more so. And unless they do something to challenge that notion in his backstory like they did with Kreese. Now, Kreese had, I think her name was Betsy, right? He had her in his life, and that kind of was what, after she died, that kind of turned him in the other direction. Now, possibly if she's still alive, that's still a possibility. Possibly if she's still alive and someday he finds this out and maybe is a reunion with her, could that possibly change his view and maybe make him walk a path more to the light side? Just speculations on my part. Interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the possibilities going forward with Cobra Kai Season 4. And I'll read the copy just to wrap things up here. In the Season 3 finale, Kreese turned to a mysterious individual for help after Johnny and Danny put their differences aside and joined forces. There was a lot of speculation that the person on the other end of the line was Silver, and sure enough, Thomas Ian Griffin will reprise the role for Season 4. Silver was an old war buddy of Kreese and the original financier of the Cobra Kai dojo. He served as the principal antagonist of Karate Kid 3. I'm so tired. After first becoming Danny's new trainer, only to betray his student by revealing that the whole thing was an elaborate plan to gain his trust. The character appeared in flashbacks during Season 3, thanking Kreese for saving his life and promising to be there for him for the rest of his life. It looks like Kreese will be calling him that favor. Thomas Ian Griffin told EW, which is Entertainment Weekly, "I never imagined I'd be stepping back into this role, but what an incredible opportunity to bring Terry Silver full circle. When they say Cobra Kai never dies, they mean it." So, looking forward to this. A lot of people are saying that we could probably expect a trailer pretty soon. I think they finished filming like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I remember reading that they were done filming. So there's probably not a whole lot more to do for editing before we'll see a trailer put together. So I would say look for that probably in a few weeks, definitely within a month. And from what I understand, they're going to fast track Season 4 because we lost a lot of time during 2020. And Season 3 should have been out then. Instead, it was in January of this year. or whatever. It was the last week of 2020 or something like that. So we really are owed another season sometime in the spring. People are saying it's probably going to be in the fall, maybe September. So I'm guessing a trailer probably the end of June, probably in July at the very latest. So exciting times if you're looking forward to Cobra Kai season 4, as I am. Just a great show, and so far, really great seasons. I think I still say season 2 is my favorite. Season 3 probably after that, and then season 1, where it all started, probably last. But they're all great, all the seasons. All right, so that about wraps it up for this afternoon. Be sure you leave a like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. As I said, the subscriptions are going up and down a little bit. Please subscribe and stay subscribed. If you have any comments, I always read them on the subsequent broadcasts. Probably will, I don't know, I'm going to try to do more shows. I'll try to see you again before next week. But always, you can find us here on Saturday, on the only way to spend your Saturday, here with us on the Johnny Torch program. And we will be trying to, I always try to make sure I do a broadcast on Saturday, if possible, on the weekend, Saturday, sometimes Sunday, if I miss Saturday. But we always try to be there for you. And like I said, it's tough to try to find time, but I'm going to try to see if I can get some more stuff to do a show about. And who knows what it could be? Let me know if you have any ideas in the comments below. I like to do some more recorded videos. Again, like I said, there are so many good recorded videos I should be doing that I'm not doing. But the book, it takes precedence. I got to get the book done. And trust me, you're going to love it when you see it. I put a lot of effort into this book. There's a lot of work. I've grown, I think, as a colorist over these past 2 issues. I've really upped my game in the coloring department. I think you're going to be really pleased with that. It's still colorful and cartoony, but I play with a lot more different things with shadows and light, and it's an awful lot of fun. So please check it out by checking out the link in the description below for my website. Check me out on Twitter, and until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.